and welcome to our new video. Join us on a comfy settee where we talk about spooky videos and creepy videos and so on and so forth. We're here to talk about a Pacific doll called Annabelle. You've probably heard about her before. She is quite a common spooky doll that a lot of people talk about. She is a doll that looks very teddy-ish, like a material teddy kind of thing, a Raggedy Ann doll, as we call it.
So buckle up, get yourself ready, get your drinks, anything you might need, and relax as you join us for the spooky sessions on this channel for the first time. The story of Annabelle all begins in 1971. Annabelle was a gift to a young nurse called Donna or Deirdre in some accounts of this story. Annabelle has red hair, pale skin, and an orange nose.
And a very white smile.
All seemed well at first. Annabelle seemed like a completely normal doll and everything was well. Donna or Deirdre loved the doll. She lived with a fellow nurse called Angie and everything was fine to start.
But things started to appear unusual and the atmosphere started to get a bit creepy as things started to move around and the doll itself started to move around.
And they began to notice parchment paper around their flat or house, which was unusual. They didn't have parchment paper, and on that parchment paper read,
Oh my. They got quite spooked. They did have a boyfriend that came in and out and he got attacked. He had 3 markings.
Markings that they say are the sign of the devil. That true or not? You decide. And thus they decided to bring in a psychic.
The psychic felt like there was something in the room, and she believed that it was a 7-year-old little girl that possibly just felt lonely and wanted a family to stay with. She wanted to possess the doll to be with these nurses, and in doing so, the nurses accepted and asked her to go into the doll, possessing the doll. But that was a bad idea.
As they were told that Annabelle Higgins, which was her name, is her name, all she wanted was to be loved and cared for. And the nurses, kind as they were, agreed upon this.
Things started to get worse. They saw the doll move more parchment paper left with "Did you miss me?" or "Miss" writing on the wall.
And entering this story is now the Warren family.
The Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were asked to come and see the doll as they were spooked and didn't know what else to do. They heard about Ed and Lorraine Warren through media, as in TV, like television and black and white screens. and radio stations the old-fashioned way, and they've invited them into their homes and asked about the doll. Lorraine Warren is like a sidekick. She claims that she was more advanced in her abilities of seeing and feeling and talking to the spirits.
And they ran their own museum of the paranormal. And they had a museum, it still exists to this day, of the paranormal. Thus, Donna or Deirdre agreed to allow the Warrens to take Annabelle away and place it in the museum. However, Ed and Lorraine were quite worried about what Annabelle could do. So they decided, they made a pact that they wouldn't use, in America terms, freeway, in our terms, in the UK, the motorway, and they didn't. However, on their journey home, they had issues with the brakes. Sometimes they'd stop and sometimes they wouldn't, they'd stick. And I believe they almost had a couple of incidents, but luckily they got back safely.
And the reason why they were so scared of taking the freeway or the motorway is because Lorraine felt like this spirit wasn't of this earth, and felt like this was something demonic and very powerful. So when they got back, they put her in the museum of all the collection they have, and they started to notice weird things happening around the museum and the house. And that's when they decided to put Annabelle in a box, in a glass box. So it's made of wood and glass, made by, I believe that it was a priest. I'm not too sure about that. And the room gets blessed by a priest once a week to keep all the spirits at bay and to make sure everything is calm and that everything's going to be okay the next day.
Annabelle has received regular visits from the public, and one said couple came to visit her one day and mocked her and made fun of her and told her she wasn't real, and told her it was, and said it was all a bunch of lies. And that day they went away on a motorcycle and sadly, fatally, had an accident, killing the young man, but thankfully the woman survived.
There was also another incident where a priest didn't believe in Annabelle, and on the way back home he saw Annabelle in the in the mirror, in the back seat, I'm guessing, and in doing so he crashed, but he survived.
Although there is no solid proof that it was Annabelle that caused these incidents, it is widely believed that she did. However, in more recent times, in 2020, some believe that Annabelle, during COVID, had left her box, and there was a certain hysteria, but the remaining Warren family that still run the museum, the remaining Warren family who the museum was passed down to, gladly dispelled these rumours and proved that she was still in her box safely, and it was just nothing but presumably a hoax But Annabelle has been out of a box since she's been put there.
She's been to visit the Zach Baggins Museum in an episode of Ghost Adventures. Though there has been nothing reported from what I know of anything happening. But she is now back in that museum, in the Ellen Lorraine Warren's museum, being blessed once a week, and still in her carved wooden box with a glass case.
The Ed and Laura Museum has been somewhat of a controversial topic over the years. Many believe that many of the objects in the museum are not real, are made up. But the truth of it, nobody truly knows. So take what you take from the museum.
I truly believe that Anne Lorraine Warren didn't make this museum for money. From what I've learned so far, and it's not a lot, that all they wanted to do was protect the world from evil that they believed in, and to help people as much as possible when they had issues or problems or things like possession. I believe that they were just trying to help people. Other people may not believe, but does it really matter if they're not harming anybody?
The story of Annabelle has become so widely known, so famous in fact, that not one but three Annabelle movies have been made in the Conjuring universe, loosely based on Annabelle. In the movies, Annabelle is portrayed with a porcelain face and blonde hair and a white dress and a red ribbon around the dress in the middle. However, it's not a true to life representation of Annabelle. In the movies, she is much more violent and dangerous, and while there is a certain truth in the movies, a lot of it is based upon fiction, made bigger for the movies. And all three movies, to my knowledge, have come with well reception and have done very, very well on the big screen, and they are very, very popular movies. I've only seen the first one myself. I can't comment much further on the others. And also, you can buy living dead dolls of Annabelle from the movies. But one thing to note, you don't really ever see a replica of the real Annabelle, with good reason.
And that's because they believe that Annabelle could possess ones that look either exactly like her or similar to her. And it makes it a bit more scary knowing that fact.
And so, if you ever go and visit the Ed and Lorraine Museum in America, and you visit Annabelle, be kind. Don't disrespect her. Because whether the story of Annabelle is true or not, don't take the risk. Be respectful.
And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video and this story. And I hope you're nice and cuddled up and warm. And we'll see you in another video.
Bye.
Stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.